And we are go. How's it going out there, everybody? It is a lovely Saturday out there. Well, kind of lovely. Hopefully, it's lovelier where you guys are. I just looked out my window. It's getting overcast and cloudy out here in Arizona. But either way, how are you all doing? My name is Spencer McCooley. You might know me as Mav. You might know me as the editor-in-chief of Bounding Into Comics. If you're hanging out here, you'll know me as the host of this good old live stream, The Good, the Mav, the Ugly. A weekly live stream where I hang out with you guys every weekend, kick it off right, talk to you about what's on your mind, talk about maybe some news of the week, generally just remind everybody that even though everything is kind of on fucking fire right now and it's kind of rough out there in the world, there's still some good things out there. There's still reasons for us to hang out, for us to laugh, to hang out together. So that's what we're doing here this Saturday. I'm glad to be here, guys. It has been, it's been sort of a big week, right? We've had a lot of things, coming down the pipeline. Obviously, if you caught the title or the thumbnail or any of that fun stuff, you'll know that the big news this week is Ubisoft's giant restructuring, shakeup, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the studio that we all know and we all love to hate, they're trying to keep themselves afloat, or trying. We'll get into it, but at least as far as my take goes, I'm like 98% sure we are looking at like a tech company wearing a video game company skin at this point. Like, it's really, really bad. And you kind of just want to like grab Yilmon and be like, dude, stop. Like, hello, just one piece of common sense, just one thing, right? So we'll definitely be talking about that. The other probably big headline news is Hasbro is being sued for their handling of Magic the Gathering. Apparently, they are once again being accused of overprinting stock and destroying the game's value. It's, something that a lot of Magic players and a lot of just, Hasbro watchers, whether you like, Power Rangers or Transformers or whatnot, this is just sort of something that we've all been aware of. And I don't want to say that the house of cards is crumbling now, because it's never really ever that easy or that like quick, but motion is starting again. We'll get into that, of course. But aside from that, guys, I don't know, whatever else is on your mind, let me know what you guys what's going on with you, anything you like, anything that's been on your mind, bothering you, all that fun stuff. Either way, I'm here with you guys for the next 2.5 hours, so let's get into it. Kicking off with Hibiki. What's going on, Hibiki? Hey man, I hope you oh my god, what was I gonna say? I hope you've leveled up in Marvel Rivals. I know we were talking over last Wednesday on Mav streams about you trying to get out of not out of, but complete enough matches to get into competitive. So I hope you've gotten there. And gosh, something in my eye. Ow. But yeah, quick update, guys. I know Thursday we were supposed to have our regular Mav streams. We didn't have it. That is slightly on me. As I said on Wednesday during our stream, I had some stuff to take care of on Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning. At the time, I thought it would be all good, that I would be back home in time. Things happened out of my control that took me away. But either way, I am here now and we'll be hanging out. Disruptions will not be as frequent as we get into the year. I promise that. What's going on, Punk? He says, hey, and making ramen noodles. You mean Asian spaghetti? No, I'm kidding. Speaking of ramen, like I just got a really weird craving for ramen like 15 minutes before we started the stream. So maybe I'll join you later and I'll grab that for lunch. Hibiki says, I'm still preparing for that big, massive snow and ice storm. Had to get another new generator because the other one we had didn't work. Dude, that's wild. Yeah, in case you guys aren't aware right now, the pretty much like all of the United States, except for the southernmost southwest belt, like where I live in, like Southern California down, and then the bottom, like right under Phoenix, Arizona, like right under there. That line is the only line that is not being affected by this massive snow, ice, cold front storm. I don't even know. I know, yeah, Hibiki's obviously out there. I'm glad. That's a really shitty situation, and I've been there before, back when I lived out in the Midwest, where I had to go get an emergency generator during a big, event. But I'm glad you did. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you're okay. Shout out to well, not just to one of you guys, like most of you. I know Andrew is going to be hit by it. I know Kenny, our good friend Kenny over in New Jersey, has been preparing for it all week. So all I can say is I hope you guys are bundled up, locked down, get those video games ready, because like I said, I always feel bad when it's like bright and sunny out and it's like, I could stay inside all day, but I should go for a walk. I should do something. But when it's, crappy weather, that is the full excuse to just sit down and game away, 9 hours down into whatever game. You know what I mean? Oh man, and your neighbor's having problems with their generator. Yeah, like, isn't it supposed to hit like? Well, hasn't it already been like slowly hitting, and then I think it hits like tonight, like officially. I don't know. Either way, it sounds a little selfish, but all I can really say is like I'm so glad for myself that I am not there, because I am just the biggest wiener when it comes to cold. Like it does not take a lot for me to start, shaking and going, oh, I want my sweater. But let's see. What do you guys want to talk about? What do we want to kick off today with? What has been, you know what? Why not start here? This is an easy topic. I know we'll probably all have a lot of thoughts on it, but drum roll, please. Have you guys caught this pretty awful development over in the DCU? So, in case you haven't seen the development and you haven't seen what I just pulled up on screen, and you don't know what I pulled up on screen because you're not looking, and I just picked the worst moment to take a slug of water. So DCU, their Batman project, their first big Batman debut film, is not going to be a solo project. We've known this for a while. It's going to be Brave and the Bold, which will be a movie centered on Batman, obviously, and Damian Wayne. So it's going to be taking a lot of inspiration from oh my gosh, I totally just blanked right there. Oh yeah, it's going to take a lot of inspiration from Grant Morrison's, introduction of Damian Wayne era. Probably buckle up to see some gentle massaging of Dick Bat's time into the Bruce Wayne canon for DCU. I know that's how they're going to play it around. But either way, what you might not have known is that when this project was announced, when James Gunn came in and he's like, all right, this is DC Studios now, we're revamping everything. Here are the projects we currently have on deck, right? And he did that whole rollout of like Superman, Supergirl, Lanterns, Creature Commandos, things like that, right? During that big initial rollout, he confirmed that, man, there's something in my eye, and I feel bad that I'm being all gross while I'm talking to you guys. But during that initial announcement, James Gunn did confirm that Brave and the Bold was attached to Andy Muschietti, who, if you guys remember, he is the director for the Flash movie, which was a disaster. He's also been handling recently he's been handling that. All right, hold on, guys. I need to at least turn off my camera because this thing is stuck in my eye and it's bugging me, but I can still talk to you guys. So hold the phone. Where's my graphic? Nope, that's not it. Well, I can just do this for a second. I am still here. Ow, get that out. It's so, ow. I can't even look at you guys. But yes, so Andy Muschietti, he has also, after The Flash, he went over to HBO and he has been helming their It prequel series, Welcome to Derry. I haven't watched it. I've heard that it was surprising. Let me rephrase that. I haven't heard a lot about this show since it started. I'd say a couple months back. At the time it started, I remember hearing a lot of people going oh wow, I did not expect that to come down the pipeline. But so they were pleasantly surprised by what they were getting offered. Kenny, I wish I had eye drops, but it would be a whole to do. Oh, I think I got it. I think it just came out on my hand. Great, we're good. we're good. And now I look like I have like a singular case of pink eye. Blah. But also, what's going on, Kenny? That's so hilarious. We were just talking about, yeah, I just shouted you out. We were just talking about the fact that the cold ice front or whatever is hitting like today, right? So yeah, I'm okay, Hibiki. There was just like there was something in my eye, like an eyelash, and now it's just like I got it out. Now my eyes all watery and I look awful, but no, everything is completely fine. Like I feel great. But all that aside, yeah, no, but we were saying, Kenny, I was like, everybody stay safe. I know you've been preparing. I know Hibiki's been preparing. So yeah, lock in, bundle up, get those video games ready. It's 18 today, but went out anyways. See, I don't know why you would. Like, that sounds insane to me. I would do everything in my power not to go outside in 18-degree weather. I saw it was like -1. Or no, that's not saw. My buddy who lives in Canada, he just texted me a little while ago. We were talking, and it's -1 up there. Like, and that's not even the worst of it. I've seen like Minnesota's in colder temperatures. I think like Idaho is too. I don't know. Like, yeah, we can all make fun of the snowbirds or whatever. They get away to Arizona and California, but you know what? They might have a point. They might have a point to it. But anyway, back to the Andy Muschietti of it all. So yeah, he's currently helming that Welcome to Derry series over on HBO. I haven't heard anything about it since it started, since it was like its first couple of weeks. What I heard at the time was that people were pretty surprised. They were like, "Oh, this is going to be stupid. They're going to, ruin the mystery of Pennywise, yada 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 yada." And then they were like, "Oh, okay, this is going in like a complete left direction that we didn't like a left turn direction that we didn't even think this was going. Let's see what it is." All I know about that series is that apparently at least that first season plot centered around the US government, because it takes place in like the Cold War, like 60s, 70s, 80s. It's the US government trying to capture and weaponize Pennywise, which is like such an absurd concept, but also a good one. I obviously, as you guys can tell from my excitement, like I like that concept. I don't know if he pulled it off well. I haven't heard from anybody. I haven't watched it myself, but that's what he's been overdoing right now. He was initially attached to do Brave and the Bold. He has, constantly said, "Yep, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it." Until this week, when earlier this week, oh, what's going on, Andrew? Playing some TR 2013. Oh, Tomb Raider 2013. Oh, are you you're getting back on that hype train because of the new Amazon series and all that stuff that got blasted out? What? Bring back your streams, dude. Come on, do your solo gaming streams. Let me watch that noise. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that, you know what, Kenny, that is completely fair. If you're going to be locked in for like the next 2 or 3 days, you go, okay, I'm going to take any opportunity I can to just remember that there is a world out here. So Kenny actually weighs in. Welcome to Derry was pretty good. I haven't seen the full episodes, but watch it through a couple reactors I get a kick out of, and it was good. That makes me genuinely happy to hear because, yeah, like I said a second ago, I like that concept because it's so campy and so like kind of horror, ridiculous, absurd. It's a lot of like, did anybody out there watch the Chucky show that they were doing? I forget what network it was. Sci-Fi, maybe FX, Tubi. I don't fucking know. Shudder. Whatever. Disney Plus. But that show in its final season was like Chucky in the White House, right? Like he's not the president, but he's like, he gets brought into the White House, and it's just playing with these absurdity levels, right? Like I kind of like Andrew and I were talking about on Thursday on Foil Variant with Omega Bam Man and Kyle Rayner being, shot out into space into an intergalactic wrestling promotion. This is the kind of stuff that comic books can be, or comic books and this horror art kind of thing. Like this arena can work really, really well with. So I'm glad to hear that it turned out at least decently. Dexter's dad wanted to use Pennywise to protect America. Each season is supposed to go back 27 years in time when Pennywise shows up to feed. Yeah, that's why I said that thing about like at least this season, because that's what I had heard, is that they're going like through different eras. So I wasn't going to say like the entire show is that. And honestly, it's probably better that it's not. I'm so in favor of anthology style shows like this. American Horror Story, back before it kind of like really huffed up its own farts, and that didn't take very long. It was only like season 4 or 5, but I was a big fan of that entire production style where you had, you know, one season was one story, and then the next season was a different story, but you use the same actors and they're in different roles, right? Like, and there's no connection. It's not like, oh, this is my cousin, this is my brother from the last story. Or it's just like new characters. I always thought that was a really good idea and lets you play with things a lot. That's how I started feeling near the end of the Arrowverse, right? I was like, these shows, the overarching big long plots were good, but we need I'd be better if we just did like, here's a season and it's that story and it's like, they're done, we're good. You know, we don't need to have everything be a giant overarching plot. They have the same actor playing Gotham in it. Which actor? I have no idea who's in any of these shows. I didn't watch Gotham either because I didn't watch Gotham not because I didn't hear it was good. I actually heard Gotham was pretty entertaining, and I know, oh my gosh, it's Andrew's favorite guy. It's the Jedi dude. Cameron Monaghan, I think, right? Like the ginger dude. I heard he absolutely kills it in Gotham as the Joker. I didn't watch it at the time though, because it was such a weird ask. They were like, oh, hey, we're the CW. You're coming here to watch superhero shows in the DC. Oh, we've got an overarching collective sort of, TV imprint where they're all in the same thing. Okay, here's Batman. But he's completely removed from everything. Like, it's not even like a prequel Arrowverse series. It's just, here's Bruce. And not even Bruce, really. It's Dent and Gordon and everything, right? So I do admittedly have that show on my like watch list. I just, at the time, I couldn't get into it because that was such a weird ask. Hey, Shinkai's here. Yes, what's going on, buddy? Demon Slayer Infinity Train was a fun anthology, swapping out characters but building a big lore. That can work. It's just oftentimes, as we kind of see with the MCU, if you can start out doing like anthology that builds to a point, but once you hit that more, I would say like 75 to 80% of the time, once a project, a building narrative project like that hits that crossover collective climax point, very rarely do creators or corporations or whatever look past that, right? So then they hit that moment and they go, oh shit, well, what do we do now? And that's when they start, throwing out ridiculous things and trying to make it work. And that's when things just start going to hell, like really, really, really fast. No, Zero, not late at all. And also, whether you're joining, at the very start of the stream or when I'm jumping out, either way, I love seeing you guys. I love chatting to you guys. I love talking to you. So happy to have you, Z. Kenny says AHS went off the rails, but had some cool parts of it. I know a lot of people hated Apocalypse, but I liked it until they kind of pushed out and the Antichrist was run over, and that was that. Yeah, like I said, I genuinely liked so what was it? Like the first season was the house, right? Like the haunted house. I liked that one. The next one was that the hospital, the insane asylum? Or was it, I forget. I think so. Yeah. Either way, I really, really liked that one. I was super stoked for the one after that because it was supposed to revolve around like aliens. Like there was an alien thing in play. And you guys know me, I love my UFOs and all my wooey crap. And then the alien subplot was basically just like oh yeah, you got abducted. They're real. Bye. And it's like, okay, I don't know what we're doing here. You guys are trying way too hard to be mysterious. And then they got to Covenant. with like in New Orleans with the witches, which I thought started out pretty good and pretty terrifying, especially when they show you like all the slaves that were kept in that slave keeper's house that are causing the hauntings. But then it drags and it goes off the rails, and they forget like to focus on the horror of it all, and they get way more into the character exploration, which is okay. We can have a discussion about whether that's better or worse, but I just didn't think it worked. Okay, yeah, Cameron because I always confuse him because there's Cameron Moynihan, and then there's the dude from SNL, Bobby Moynihan. And I'm always like, for some reason, those two names always like cross over in my head. So I say the wrong one every time. So I'm glad I got it this time. Kenny. Oh yeah. See, you guys are liking Demon Slayer, or not Demon Slayer, Gotham. Kenny says, so over the top and entertaining, good cast, really good really dark moments for network TV. Alfred is a badass. Catwoman and Penguin were the best characters. Shinkai says Gotham was like Smallville, had its ups and downs, didn't check out final season because he was checked out, but better than Pennyworth, which was weirder. Yeah, dude, just weird. Yeah, I like on the subject of Pennyworth, like I don't even know how to like lead into us talking about this as just like a brief blurb. Remember Pennyworth? I have to believe that show started out somewhere like as something different. Like maybe a Kingsman spinoff, or maybe even like I don't know, a Grey Ghost, something that's not Alfred, because I don't think anybody was asking for like, can we get a badass Alfred origin story? We didn't need it. We all knew who he was, right? It reminds me a lot of, or to me, I compared a lot to Yoda in Attack of the Clones, where I hate the fact that they showed Yoda lightsaber fighting in that movie, because to me, that ruins the mystique of like, oh, I'm you look at Yoda and everybody go like, they revere him. They go like, oh shit, like don't mess with Yoda. That is Jedi master. Like that's the guy. And then, that kind of suggests to us, the audience, even if we don't see it, just like, oh, he's going to like, move his hand and your skin is going to rip off if he wants to, or he can do Jedi mind tricks so well that your brain just shuts off. I don't like, that's what that presence would imply. And then, oh, here he is. He's jumping around. Wah, 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 wah. And it's like, oh, so he is really just another guy who can be beaten. Right? Like it takes away some of that mystique. And in the comics and everything, we've known Alfred has been a badass forever. Right? Like obviously terrible writer. We all know he sucks. But shout out to Tom Taylor in the, I am a fan of the first like 2 seasons or so, or whatever, like Injustice 1 and Injustice 2, his like comics for those games. They are over the top, and they are completely not the characters we would expect. They are the NetherRealms versions, but I still found those comics fun because it felt like Tom Taylor knew that's where like the zone he was existing in was like, okay, I know it's not canon, but I also know it's a little ridiculous, so let's go for it. And there's moments in there's one particular moment in that series that I really, really like, where if you guys remember in Injustice, the way Batman and the Resistance can fight Superman and the regime is because they get like little pills that they can take, and it gives them like Kryptonian level durability, strength, yada, yada, yada. And in the comics, at one point, Superman goes to Wayne Manor to like, apprehend Bruce, and he encounters Alfred. And he's like, Alfred, give me Bruce. He's like, no, I will not. And he's like, Alfred, don't make this harder. And Alfred like punches him, and Superman buckles over. He goes like, what the fuck? And then Alfred like kicks him so hard in the face that his shoe explodes. And like, he starts putting in his like SAS training, and it's just like, that's Alfred. Like, we knew he's a badass. I didn't need you to show me him becoming a badass. It was such a weird idea. I have no idea what was going on there. Oh, yes. Western show Infinity Train. I don't know why I blinked so hard on that. And for some reason in my mind, I went anthology equals like other character stories being told. Like I had a massive brain fart there. Thank you, Shinkai. But Yes, Infinity. That's a good show too. I did like Infinity Train. Um, yeah, Kenny says American Horror Story first season was really good. Like the Asylum one, they lost me with the Clown Circus one. The Witches were all right. I don't even think I remember the Clown Circus one. That might have been right after the Witches one. Um, oh, Chris Chalk played Lucius Fox in Gotham, and he also plays in It Welcome to Derry. Nice. Yeah, Shinkai. So Shinkai brings this up. This is so funny. I know we were talking about this yesterday in the Kabuto Studios Discord. Link down below if you guys want to come hang out and chat with us. But speaking of weird spin-offs, prequels, does anyone remember Krypton? Only seen a few episodes because I couldn't get into this. Like, why is it a thing? So I do remember Krypton, and I remember having a very, very similar reaction to that show as I did Gotham, right? Because it's literally, or in all but literally, I guess, whatever you want to say, it's basically just the Superman version of Gotham, where you're going back into like the past of Krypton, and you're seeing how it was and then like series ender is, oh look, there's Clark. But I never understood why they would keep licensing out all these shows and actively not try and make them part of the collective, like the DC Arrowverse that they were doing. For example, with Marvel, when they went into the TV stuff, they had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then they had weird things on like Hulu with Runaways or Cloak and Dagger or Hellstrom. And we all, like everybody and their mother, one of the biggest criticisms that's universal that everybody has is it's super stupid that Marvel really tried to push their TV stuff and then kind of relegated it to its own universe, right? Like you could make an argument that the MCU with S.H.I.E.L.D., like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then the MCU with the Netflix Defenders are all like three different realities technically, right? So with all of us, like all fans and critics going like, why did we do that? That was really dumb. It was just confusing. It was weird to me that DC was just like, okay, oh, people didn't like that, but we want it. You guys want to do that? All right, let's do it. It was so weird to me, especially because like they had gone to lengths to make sure Supergirl over on ABC was in continuity with the Arrowverse even before she jumped. And so it was weird. That aside, I will say I do get a little weird about, or like it's hard for me to fully go like, man, fuck that thing, because it did give us our only, as far as I can think of, like live action depiction of Mon-El. And I'm a very big Mon-El fan. I really, 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 really like him. And they handled him pretty well. I was very happy about that. And when they used comic book stuff, they weren't afraid to use the comic book stuff. For example, they had a Lobo, full, Caesarian, white skin, black eye makeup, dreads, chains all over the place. Now, here, I'll pull up a picture because I want to make it clear he's good, but he's TV good. All right, because we all saw here. Let's pull that up really quick, actually. Because that'll be a very easy image to grab because everybody was probably sharing it. No, it's just going to be that. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Come on. All right. So, regardless of whether you like Superman, you like James Gunn, or Tom King, or all that, I don't think anybody can deny that this Lobo by Jason Momoa is pretty much fucking Lobo, right? Save the Rob Liefeld level exaggerated musculature. That's pretty much Lobo. And that's pretty good, right? So with that sort of being the standard, like I recognize that. Now, with that in mind, I'm bringing up Lobo from Krypton. Hold on, I just got to grab the image, open it in a new tab. So that's DCU Lobo. here is Krypton Lobo. So, like I said yesterday, Shinkai, right? Or you and I said yesterday, it's obviously a little cheesy. It's obviously not, movie quality. But again, that's the budget. Yes, they went a little weird with his hair and like, what the hell? Why does my music player just randomly decide to start going and play Panic at the Disco? I have no idea what that was about. But anyway, yeah. So like obviously they took a little they went more Momoa-y in his hair because I believe at this time the DCU was already or EU was already kicking off and alive and well. But yeah, they gave him a little bit of a man bun to maybe boost his size because you can't give him the giant prosthetics or everything or expect a TV actor to go on the same workout regimen as a screen actor or a film actor. Let me rephrase that. But all that aside, right, for a television show interpretation of a comic book character, that's pretty good. So like this kind of stuff always makes me go like, you know what? I'm not watching your show and I didn't have interest in it initially, but I don't know if I can necessarily be mad at it because you're at least doing what you can with the material in it. But yeah, I genuinely weren't they like, oh no, okay, I was gonna make a joke because I was gonna say like, yeah, I don't know why they made Krypton and Gotham. Where's the Wonder Woman show? Why didn't they do a Themyscira? And then I realized, like, funnily enough, that's one of the projects that James Gunn was working on or is working on for the DCU. It's like a Themyscira origin crap story, whatever. I don't really care. Who cares? Look, I love Wonder Woman. I love my Amazons. Artemis is my favorite. I just don't care. But that's just me. That's just a personal opinion. So, yes, Shinkai, totally agree. All he's missing is his Momoa is his space motorcycle. I'm pretty sure we see it in the trailer, like he rides in on it. It's in the haze and everything. So I'm excited to finally get like HD screens of this. Once the Blu-ray hits, I'm gonna go nuts on it. It's gonna be everywhere I'm down and cannot wait. Punk asks, did you like Agent Carter? I did. I actually really liked Agent Carter. I thought Haley Atwell was a great lead. I really like I always forget who it was. The guy who they cast for young Howard Stark. I always really liked him. The problem with that show, though, was nobody had planned anything out. So they just went, give Agent Carter a prequel series. And they go, okay, cool. Everything's rolling. Oh, shit. This is supposed to be in continuity with everything. Well, can we have like a big, they're making a super weapon, they're doing that? Well, no, because then where did it go in the future? And it's just, this stuff can work if you give it the effort and you give it the forethought and you give it the planning. I just don't think anybody over at Disney at that time in particular did, right? Because that goes back to what I was talking about with Marvel didn't necessarily go like, oh, we are intentionally going to license out all of our stuff to different production studios and they're all separate from the MCU. They didn't do that. They did start out with, okay, you know, Hulu will handle Runaways. CBS, you're going to handle Cloak and Dagger. I think Hulu again was for Hellstrom. Like they had a plan, or at least an idea, a concept of a plan, and they just never really like followed through on it. They kind of just like burnt themselves out, or rather like they didn't fight hard enough through the TV ecosystem, right? Because the big thing that arose with all this, and the reason why things like Hellstrom and Carter Hellstrom and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Cloak and Dagger, the Runaways, they're all not canon because it was just like they entered production and then the studios were getting pissy at each other. Like, no, I want this money. Like, no, I want it, but you gave me the rights. And so Nintendo or Marvel just went like, you know what? Whatever. Go do your I don't even care anymore. Which is like, I keep mentioning it. Do you guys even remember the Hellstrom TV series? Do you remember? And if you do you even remember that it came out? Because it did. I watched one episode and I went, what am I? It's such a weird show because they had to hyper strip it down of all of its like big demonic stuff, right? because it's, you know, it's going on to Disney, it's going on to CBS or ABC or whatever it is. And then they also like really like like held back what they were like, who they were allowed to use and what characters. So you essentially just have like a story about a guy named Damien Hellstrom. That's like I feel like one other character who I can't remember off the top of my head from Marvel appears, like from the comics, not the MCU, but they don't talk about any, like it's just completely unrelated. Remember in the 2000s when you would get a new miniseries about like your favorite hero and it would throw them in their black, you know, leather outfit, X-Men style, and it would try to make them all edgy and almost removed from what the character was because they were trying to reach a new audience. It's a lot like that. It's a very like, it's so bad. Lobo, Sheriff Lobo. I want Space Pope Lobo. Do you guys remember that from 52 when he ended up getting like the Emerald Eye and he was the leader of a whole church and everything? Loved that. Zippy, what's going on? You has come. Happy to have you. TB Lobo, not bad. Right? Like, again, if you said this is the DCU big $billion budget movie version, I would go, I don't know about that, guys. Like who's embezzling? Who, like, what drugs are you buying? Why aren't you sharing them with me? And try again, because this is not movie quality Lobo. But for TV, I'm pretty good for it. I'm pretty on it, right? Especially because to you know, sort of put a stamp on Lobo, at least this was Lobo's first real big spotlight since the New 52, where in the New 52, if you guys remember, they turned him into the like super Bishonen, you know, anime twink guy that nobody likes and constantly just gets like joked on. So this was like, oh, you're like, we're going back to Lobo. This is like almost like a rejection of, don't try to like revamp Lobo. So I like, again, tip of the hat. Nah, see, like I disagree, Zippy. I love Superman. Didn't watch Creature Commandos. Peacemaker season 1, amazing. Peacemaker season 2, fine. There's some good moments in it, as everybody here is probably sick of hearing. I'm a sucker for good multiverse stuff, especially when you're, you know, going to the comics. So when they did the reveal, like, oh, Peacemaker's actually on Earth X specifically, I was like, dude, okay, that's pretty cool. Like that's pretty great. And then, you know, James Gunn going back and getting those real deep cuts with Salvation Run and Final Crisis, like, all right, go ahead and cook, James. Like do that. The one thing that's really worried me throughout all this, and it's like, I tell this to Andrew all the time, which is like, I like what we've seen so far. I haven't watched Creature Commandos. I don't know if I said that. I don't really care. But like Superman, great. I'm from Superman. I'm excited to see what he does with Supergirl. But I don't really give him like, oh yeah, I'm in. I know he can do no good. Like, I'm not there. He has to impress me with each film. And I think he's always going to have to, because why would you voluntarily make Tom fucking King like the main architect of your DCU, right? Because it's not just that they're adapting some of his stories. Obviously, Supergirl is Woman of Tomorrow from his stuff. There is the Mr. Miracle animated series that is being adapted. It's not just like, you know, stuff he's already written. Gunn has him in there, like, contributing to the scripts for other things, like Lanterns. Tom King has not written a Green Lantern book or a Green Lantern story. The only time Tom King has handled like a solo, like, oh, I'm only focusing on Lantern and the Lantern mythos right now, was in Heroes in Crisis, when he had that bullshit interview with Hal, like in his mental health session, where he goes like, I don't even know what Will is. This is stupid. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Like, so I don't know what is wrong with James Gunn. Like is that just like the one crack we all have to deal with in that? Like, we're going to get screen accurate everything, but we have to deal with the fact that for some reason James Gunn is like a Tom King normie fan. It's very, very weird. And then I also, like, this isn't a defense. It's just something that's, you know, a point that like I come back to a lot is a couple weeks ago, James Gunn gave an interview about Supergirl, and he was like, well, yes, it takes like it gets inspired and it is adapting Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow, but it's not one to one, right? Like we're not just copying it. It's more like taking inspiration from. And so I'm like, what then why do you even have him around? Like I would if James Gunn just said, oh yeah, it's based off of that, we're using it for the aesthetic, yada yada yada, I'd go, I wish you'd pick anything else, but okay, whatever. Some of us like bad stories, it happens. But the fact that he goes, okay, yeah, we're doing that, and I'm going to keep Tom around on everything. Like, there's got, again, Tom, I just real like it's Tom King. He's a CIA agent. He's got to have compromise. That's all I can assume at this point. Shinkai says, wasn't there already a Wonder Woman show? Not the 90s, but one where she does corporate stuff and wears pants. Well, there was the Linda Carter one, obviously. And then there was the one they tried. They made a pilot in like 2009, 10 with Adriana like Pilecki, I think her name was, as Diana, which put her in her like not 52, but like right before 52 era when they put the pants on her. She had that costume and it was fine. I can see why it wasn't picked up. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like, oh, this is going to change the game for everything in the way that an Arrow or a Flash or even a Supergirl did, right? So it was what it was. I don't think he'll ever beat Linda. Yeah, Zippy. That is, yeah. To be fair, there's so many random super weapons in Marvel worlds. Oh yeah, 100%. I was just sort of using that as a very simple reference point for like, you can't when you do prequels like this, right? It's really hard to make stakes that matter because we already know that, like, for example, you go into let's just, I know it's not how it plays out, but you go into Star Wars Episode 1 and you're like, okay, there's Anakin, there's all these people. Well, I already know Anakin's going to live and I already know Obi-Wan's going to live because they have to like get there. So when you do a prequel, you have to fudge around with timelines a lot. That's why you see things like all of the Disney Star Wars shows take place before the sequel trilogy because that's like the open area where they can still play around. They have a little wiggle room. If you go and you say, for example, like, okay, we're all teaming up now in the past and we're fighting, let's not even say a super weapon. Let's say just for the sake of what we're doing, Magneto, right? Oh shit, we're gonna go fight Magneto. He's this big bad, we've never seen a person control metal before. Okay, great. We've got all that. Season 1 ends or whatever, right? Oh, well then now we have to deal with the fact that, like, if Magneto existed back then, how is the Avengers Initiative like a brand new thing? How is Peggy surprised by like anything, like just things like that, right? Where is Magneto now? How did you keep Magneto under wraps for like 40 years? And sometimes good authors will, like I said, they'll be able to address that or they'll have planned for it. More often than not, in the land of like corporate film and stuff, nobody's thinking that far ahead. They're going, we need the ratings, we need the money here. What do? Oh, drop that fan favorite character. And you go like, oh, well, that opens up 1,000,004 different possibilities that are, potentially continuity ruining. So that's what I was getting at. But I also agree with you that the whole trend of like, it's a super weapon, like, why can't the super weapon be a guy, right? Or like a gal? Like, that's what a super villain, that's what the comic books are for. Yeah, dude, I know, Zippy. That's Cloak and Dagger was wild, bad, but wild. I think you and I might be on the same page here because, like, I do not think that was a good show. It's one of those shows where you can very, very, very much tell, like, the removal from the MCU completely and like the cutting off of that font of magic or of Marvel IP really fucked them. And they had to scramble really hard and really fast to get that thing into any sort of product, like presentable option, and they probably couldn't cancel it because it was already so far along. So like it's weird and bad, but then there's like out of pocket moments and then things that are like, oh wow, did not expect that from like a Disney TV show. Interesting. So I wouldn't say I have a soft spot, but I have a weird little point of affection for that Cloak and Dagger show. Dude, Hibiki, I know. I don't get why they canceled Gabriel Luna's Ghost Rider show. Dude, I will never forgive them for that. They wrote him out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because he was supposed to go on to his solo show, and now he's gone. He was so cool. I like that version of Ghost Rider. Like, Robbie is different than Danny. We've talked about it before. And yeah, that really, really made me mad. You want to know something that, like, it's not really like this just like kind of hurts. Like, I felt bad for him so later this year, Magic the Gathering is coming out with a full Marvel set, right? They just did the Spider-Man one. They're going to do a full Marvel Heroes, Avengers, Fantastic Four, yada, yada, yada. When new set marketing starts, generally one of the things they do is hold a live stream about, like 4 or 5 months before the set, starts dropping, where they'll start unveiling it and start teasing, like, this is what's inside, start getting used to it. For the Marvel set, they did that back in, I want to say, like November or October, and they invited a special guest on to present with them, Gabriel Luna, who in the connection there was, obviously he played Ghost Rider, but he's also a massive Magic player, right? Like, he's sitting there and he's talking about Simic and all this stuff, Boros and just all these strategies. And I felt really bad because it's like, Luna's not an active Marvel star right now. He got his one show canceled. And so, like, I feel like he gets the call and they're like, we need a Marvel host for, Magic. And he's just like, this is where you went, like, bottom of the barrel, which it shouldn't be. He's great. But, like, I feel bad for him. I was watching that the entire thing and I was just like, I don't know about that, man. Maybe another guest. I'm glad you're a big Magic fan, but this just feels bad to me. What did I think of Luke Cage? I did not hate it. Iron Fist was wild, kind of bad, but I can't hate bad Kung Fu too much. Luke Cage season 1. Okay, so Luke Cage season 1, part 1, like first half, I think is phenomenal television. Like, that is a good show, amazing writing. Even it's one of those shows that you truly could watch independently and, like, not care about the MCU and still be like, holy shit, that was a good show. After the death of Mahershala Ali, Cottonmouth, like, it starts to go off the rails a little bit. From there, there's some good moments here and there. I really like that scene. I think it's in season 2 where Luke goes, or he's at the barbershop and Danny comes and, like, visits him and they're, like, talking strategy and they're just, like, palling it up or whatever. Great moment. But yeah, like, it kind of just, it was one of those things where they had a really strong first idea and then going, oh, we need to make more. They want more. Ooh, I didn't really plan for more. Fuck, right? And so that kind of, like, fizzled out. Iron Fist, I wouldn't say I hated it. I actually liked Iron Fist more than a lot of people because I'm a big Danny Rand fan. I'm a big Colleen Wing fan. I'm also, I personally liked the sort of slow build mystery nature of it in the first season. I actually wish they leaned more into that, but they didn't. However, I also understand, like, where's all the fighting? Like, we didn't get much Iron Fisting. Even in like the most he got was in the Defenders mini, which is still, it was cool, but, like, come on, this is his show. So I can't hate. I'm kind of with you too. I can't hate bad Kung Fu too much. Especially, like, this was pre-cut everything to hell and back Marvel, so you could still see flows from Finn Jones instead of, like, chop it all up, right? Live action Birds of Prey TV series was bad. From what I remember, I do remember that, but it's also like, you guys got a Birds of Prey series going in 2002, and it went for like 2 or 3 seasons. You got to hand it to somebody at that point. let's see. Oh yeah, Punk. Like I highly doubt anybody does, or even like I highly doubt anybody remembers it, and I highly like, and even less people probably saw it because that was one of the ones like it went to Hulu, I think, and they just dumped it and they gave it no advertising. It was like Cloak and Dagger now here, and you could tell like that like Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, Hellstrom, those all felt defeated because you would think like you get the Cloak and Dagger advertising, it's just like new show, Cloak and Dagger, check it out here. Whereas like this is at the time of like peak Marvel, and you're not blasting out their logo or saying like this is a Marvel show, like that sucks for you guys. Like they handicap you guys hard. Well, yeah, I mean that's what's going to happen, right? It was always going to have teen drama. I like that's always kind of how they pitched the show. I just think they leaned into it being far more like CW over dramatic than a lot of the situations warranted. Let's see. Where are we? Dude, I love, yeah, the Gifted this is kind of the same thing, right? The Gifted having Polaris, the Cuckoo Sisters, but couldn't bring in Emma or Magneto or acknowledge most of the X-Men was strange. Right, exactly. And I liked the Gifted and I loved Legion, but it always feels weird, right? Especially to us fans of the comic books, when in the comics, it's completely free reign. If fucking, I don't know, Gamora wants to make a joke about Captain America in, you know, some cosmic book that's, you know, a mini series, go ahead, who cares? But you do it in the real world and it's, oh, you're benefiting that company and not that company, and we want money and blah 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 blah. It's the corporatism that we talk about all the time, right? Like that's what's ruining everything here. Yeah, Birds of Prey was rough. Best thing about it was the promos and that fake lesbian Russian duo. Oh fuck. Yeah, I forgot about that, right? I actually liked it for the fact that it had Barbara in her wheelchair, right? I feel like I feel like I'm remembering that right. And I remember going like, oh wow, good for you guys. Like you're actually not going to like the lame Batgirl route, which guess what? Marvel has done since because they're stupid. Zippy says half the CW DC shows and seasons were trash. The other half were decent. I'd say a bit more than decent. I actually really liked, you know, early Arrow, early Flash, early Legends of Tomorrow. I really liked all of those. Black Lightning was actually surprisingly interesting, even though I didn't really like, I wasn't watching it like, oh, I got to get each episode. But when I caught it and I caught up, I was like, oh, it's at least entertaining. It's at least fun. So I really liked them when they were all starting out. As the years went on, they absolutely kind of lost the plot in all of them. Obviously, like Supergirl goes off the rails pretty much almost immediately with its jump to the CW, right? That first ABC season is actually pretty fun. It's actually kind of good. Then, you know, Flash is good for a couple seasons until they get to Savitar, where they just start like rehashing. Oh, another evil Flash. What the fuck? Okay. Then Arrow, seriously, like like once he goes back to the island, like I think it's like the third time, and then he like keeps going like every season after the one with Deathstroke, like he fights Deathstroke. I think that's when he gets sent back to the island. Then he comes back, and then after that, every season ends with him somehow like the big twist at every like climax of every episode is like he's back on the island. How did it happen on the island? And I'm just like, just end it, please, for the love of God. Like just end it. Batwoman was just bad. Like there's I really don't have unfortunately anything positive to say about that. And then yeah, I liked Legends, and I always hate when something has a really cool like premise and then they abandon it like near immediately, because Legends of Tomorrow, they pitched it and they were promoting it as like it's going to have a regular rotating cast. You're going to see all these different characters from all throughout the CW and stuff, like come back and hang out. And like sometimes they switched up members, but it really coalesced around like the 5 central ones. And I was like, not what I'm here for. Like I wanted that anthology. which is worse, Supergirl or Beauty and the Beast? I mean, first of all, two different things, right? A TV show and a movie. But like I said, I like the first season of Supergirl, so I'd probably say Beauty and the Beast. I did not enjoy like my time watching that with my ex-girlfriend and I. We saw it in the theaters because she's a big Disney head, and both of us were like, "What are they doing here? Why? Like, what is happening?" But back to Lobo, really, or like not really quick, but this is what we were talking about. So, yes, all the way back to this main update, in case you guys haven't seen it. So, earlier this week, we got a new report, a big update on the DCU Brave and the Bold Batman Damian, which is, according to insider sources who spoke to the Hollywood Reporter's Boris Kitt, who is a very reliable source when it comes to this, or a very reliable reporter when it comes to this kind of stuff. Both, so it, like I said in my description here, it's a monkey's paw update, right? Because on one hand, we get the sort of good news that because of It Welcome to Derry and all of the, it's been successful. So Andy is apparently getting more offers and he has more to do and, expanded responsibilities. So because of that, it's looking like he might not end up in the director's chair for Brave and the Bold, which I think anybody who caught the multiverse ending to the Flash can agree is like, okay, whew, we made it out of that one. However, they at the same time, DC has hired Christina Hodson to pen Brave and the Bold script. And if that name sounds familiar, it's probably because she's written some things such as the Bumblebee spinoff for Transformers, or the solo film rather, as well as The Flash and Birds of Prey, or as it is properly, what is it? I wrote it down here. It's so stupid. It's in the article. Yes, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Like, okay, shut up. I hate you. But that to me is like, yay! Oh, like you can't get a better definition of like a monkey paw moment, right? And so I don't know. It's so weird to me. Like I don't want to believe Superman was just like this one-off amazing fluke, because I've enjoyed the Guardians movies. I enjoyed the Suicide Squad. I generally like James Gunn's stuff, even when I go like, okay, that's really stupid. I like, don't do that. That doesn't mean I hate it. I just go like, cut back, Gunn. Cut back on being your full self. So like hiring Tom King, throwing Christina Hodson onto your script here, like the Christina Hodson thing, maybe that's just like a like maybe somebody at Warner Brothers is like, I really like her. We owe her, put her in here. But like, I don't get it. The idea of a Christina Hodson Batman script after seeing what she already did in Birds of Prey to like all of the, basically look at what she did to Gotham. Everybody on that Birds of Prey team, yeah, is a Bat related character, right? You got Harley, you've got Huntress, as played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You had Renee Montoya, right? You had somebody, who the hell else was on that team? I think, do I have the team photo in here? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you had Renee, you had Black Canary, who is like very Gotham adjacent, right? Like she's not a Gotham character, she's actually a Justice League character, but they put her in team ups with Bruce a lot. And then of course, right there in the middle, standing right next to Quinn, Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, Orphan, Black Bat, whatever you want to call her. But in no way is it Cassandra Cain. It's just a girl with the name Cassandra Cain. So like, remember guys, like this movie was not an end of life. We know the universe is ending. We know this is all done. Let's just get ridiculous with it thing. Birds of Prey was supposed to was greenlit and worked on and released at a time when the DCU was still pretty viable, right? Like 2020, you're getting your early Peacemaker, you're getting Shazam's dropping around this sort of time. Wonder Woman's like, yeah, so Wonder Woman 2. But at the time, right, like DC was entering it like they are about to like start like collapsing, but at the time they still had like they still were operating under the belief that they were going to keep going. So that means she looked at this and DC looked at this and they were all like, oh, I'm gonna do this to like half of Batman, like a big chunk of supporting cast. And they went, great. So I don't know how it'll turn out. I just wish, guys, there could be one movie or something these days where I go like, oh, they're attached and they're attached. Cool. It's going to be great. I can't wait. Instead of being like over everything. Wait. Hold. I'm sorry. What? You did not see the Beauty and the Beast TV reboot? You're telling me about this for the first time? What? First time? No, I'm kidding. No, I legitimately have no idea what you're talking about. Like, let me know. What was it? A Disney thing, an ABC? Like, this is blowing my mind. I'd say it was not bad for a YA romance drama. Okay, now I'm like super curious. You gotta let me know. Let's see. Oh yeah, Arrow ran definitely way too long, and then it ran too long to the point where they didn't know what to do. Because like the change of Ollie from like Green Arrow street hero to what did he become? He became essentially like the Spectre Pariah. I think he was Pariah, right? That's what they made him. Right, let me look this up real quick because it bugs me. Arrow Pariah. No, that was Harrison Wells. That's right. Ollie, Final Fate, Arrow. Does he become the Spectre? Is that what it is? No, it's. Oh no, it is. Okay, he is the new Spectre. I was wrong. I was completely stupid. He is. It was the Spectre. So yeah, at the end he becomes the Spectre, and I was just like, all right, you guys have completely just lost the plot. Whatever, you can send him off now. Good, bye, gone. Kirk, where is Cider? Cider is not on today. As you know, the streaming schedule, he and Nerdigans take Monday with weekly Weeb update. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, you've got my ugly face to hang out with for a couple hours during the day. DC is fine. The Flash was a good movie. The Batman reboot was good. And the Penguin show was awesome. So completely disagree with the Flash. I think that was a giant misstep on every level, like from a production level, a marketing level, a casting level. It was just, it was a mess. However, I will say, I've heard the Batman is good. I still have not gotten around to seeing yet. I've heard nothing but praise about it. Same with the Penguin show. I've heard the Penguin is great. I actually caught like an episode or two of it, and it's like, oh fuck, like it's so good. I want to go back and watch Batman. So like right now, I definitely think like DC's in a better spot than they were. I'd say they're way better off than Marvel right now, especially because like Marvel might have the name recognition off the MCU, but nobody cares about their stuff anymore. Their comic book sales are failing. Across 2025, the best-selling comics, only one was a Marvel comic, and even then, it was the Marvel crossover with DC, the Batman Deadpool. So it's like you didn't even get up there on your own. And then yeah, that's not even getting into things like video games or movies, theme parks, all that fun stuff. Who knows? But yeah, I agree with you, Kirk. I think right now we're all good. Oh yeah, no, absolutely agree to disagree. If you, like you said, you right here, Flash movie entertained you, I'm glad it did then, right? If you like something, you like something, and nobody should be able to tell you like, oh, don't like that, yada yada. Obviously, the thing I always like try to talk about is always be sure acknowledge if something you can acknowledge things flaws. So like for the Flash, you could go, yeah, CGI was a little weird near the end, like at the very least or something. But you acknowledge that and you still go, but I still like it. Right? So yeah, no, don't worry. No hating over here if you enjoyed the Flash. You like what you like. Beauty and the Beast, 2012 show by CBS. Oh yeah, definitely would have never clocked that because that was the Mav Dark Ages, right? College, busy, no cable, no any of that stuff. So I had no idea this was it a spinoff of Once Upon a Time? Was it related to that at all, or was it like completely independent? Just yeah, never heard of that. Timon, what's up? How you doing, brother? How you doing down there? Have I watched the John Constantine show? I have, and it's good. I thank you, like Hibiki. I completely forgot that show even existed, but that was actually a really good show. I did like that. And then sort of what we were talking about earlier, like that was on a completely different network, and yet they still were able to keep Matt, what's his name? It's not Smith. That's the Doctor Who, but yeah, the actor, they were able to keep that guy as John in the Arrowverse and in the animated DC. Wow, why did I say that with such a weird cadence? And the animated DC stuff. So it's like, why did Marvel not put in any effort to make sure that like Runaways or Cloak and Dagger would have just stayed in continuity? It's so weird. Getting coffee after the afternoon nap. I need caffeine. Enjoy. Fun fact, I don't drink coffee. I dislike it immensely. I tried it once when I was very young. Haven't had a sip since. This is all natural. Get up and go. It's still streaming on Tubi or Netflix. I forget. I think I'll probably have to check just for the sheer fact that you, Zippy, said like it's not bad for a YA romance. And that's not to say you have bad, like you're super critical or whatever, but like I know what you're talking about. I know where you're coming from. So for you to go like, it's actually not bad. Huh. Interesting. I'll check it out. But I am definitely curious as to whether it was related to Once Upon a Time. So man, that John Constantine show was so good. Like we can never have nice things because synergy and blah 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 blah. But all of that aside, let's jump here. We did get a comment earlier from Conrado Javier, who said Ubisoft should have created a Japanese male protagonist to not screw it up. Obviously, he's talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and the reason he's talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows is because, in case you guys did not see earlier this week, Ubisoft has they're entering essentially the end game of their attempt to write their like shockingly sinking ship, right? Just a quick recap. I'm sure everybody here has been aware or is somewhat aware of what they've been up to in recent years, but where once we used to get, maybe not the most explosive of innovation of games, we would get some pretty good stuff, right? Enjoyable. I would almost put Ubisoft as like the FX afternoon movie, like producer of video games. They're things like Rainbow Six or Far Cry 2 or Assassin's Creed. Like they're good. They don't have that next oomph to really like put it into like this is a giant winner of a thing, but they're enjoyable enough that like I walked away from those early Ubisoft titles going like, I enjoyed my time there. That wasn't half bad. I didn't run out and start buying merch like I did for Final Fantasy, but I didn't, throw them in the dumpster bin. They were fine. And then in recent years, as it gets repetitive to a point. I know this, but unfortunately, like, we're still feeling the effects of the massive video game explosion from the pandemic. Everybody locked inside, everybody gets on video games, all the profits and prices go up. Studios go, oh, this is the new norm. This is going to be forever. They expand out, they spend billions on acquiring IPs and studios and employees and yada, yada. And then, 2 years on, 3 years on, they go, oh, crap, that really was just like a flash in the pan thing. And now we all have to suffer because now they have to start cutting things and canceling things. And it's completely awful all around. So in recent years, in particular for Ubisoft, they've really kind of moved from, pretty good, B student to see me after class. Like you're just plagiarizing, you're getting lazy, forcing ads into video games, charging exorbitant amounts for DLC, releasing, the one good game I can think of that they released in recent years, the new Prince of Persia, Forgotten Sands, Forgotten Memories, whatever that one was. That was great. And you know what they did? They released it and immediately axed that studio and said, "Get the fuck out of Dodge." Instead, and you know what? The other, the rest of their quality has been suffering too, from Rainbow Six Siege to, as Conrado pointed out, Assassin's Creed, with Shadows being like, I guess it sold decently, right? But I don't hear anybody like regaling it. Like nobody's like, oh yes, like I loved that game. People played it, I guess. Like that's, it's not a hot spot for Ubisoft. I think we all know that. I'm just putting a hat on a hat. This is all confirmed news. But as a result of all of their missteps and fuck ups and all of this, oh God, remember Star Wars Outlaws? That was a thing too. That was just a janky, unplayable mess. But with all of that, oh crap, hold on, I just completely blanked for a second. But so, with all of the crap that they've been shoveling out and all of the deserving, successive failures that they've been experiencing, last year we saw, as you guys might remember, Ubisoft sort of go into emergency maintenance mode, where they started scrambling to piecemeal off their IPs into subsidiary shell companies and get new investments from Tencent and, expand out to investors and just all of these. They were basically trying to band-aid everything, right? They were going, oh, players don't like your games. They don't like this. They don't like that. Should we improve that? No, let's not improve that. Let's just make it, more complicated for them to fight back, or make it, less effective for them to give us feedback and things like that. And as a result, everything. Eventually they went to Tencent, who already has a stake in Ubisoft, and Tencent said, no, we're basically just going to let you die, and we'll come and pick up the pieces when you're done. Over the past few months, this whole new strategy has seen Ubisoft restructuring themselves to hell and back, moving people around, opening new studios, closing studios, and all that sort of stuff, which all led to earlier this week, where they officially announced their new status quo, if you will, which is they basically come out and they said, they kind of did the Bob Iger thing, right? With the Bob Iger MCU thing. And CEO E. Gilmont, he came out and he went, yeah, we know we lost the plot a little bit. We know that the games haven't been good and you guys aren't happy. So we're like, this is a new period for Ubisoft. We're entering into a brand new era of like new quality standards, and we're going to make sure everything is up to snuff. And as part of that, they said, we're going to cut 6 games because these 6 games do not meet those standards. We don't know all of what was canned right now. We know that there were 3 new IPs that were canned, 2 mobile games, and the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, which, guys, like, it's been in fucking development for like 9 years. There's no need for a remake to be in development for 9 years. So there is word on the street that Ubisoft kind of fucked it up on their own end, and in some play out, the entire project was handed to like one guy, and he got sick with COVID, and that could put a big delay on it, and like so on and so forth. So it's just sort of like a big operational mess over there at Ubisoft. But they canned all those games, and they said, all right, looking forward to the future, we're going to be so much better. And as part of that new mission, they've done this new strategy of essentially creating like offices, right? Like at Marvel, you have the Spider-Man office, or the X-Men office, or the Avengers office that, Spider-Man office covers everything with the web slinger, Hulk office, everything with the web slinger, X-Men, yada, 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 yada. Ubisoft says that they'll be creating 5 of these creative houses, if you will, each of them meant to like specialize in a specific genre or mission, rather. So creative house number 1 is focused on scaling and extending our established franchises into annual billionaire brands. So that's going to be their big AAA level. That's got Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six. Next up is a studio house dedicated to shooters, like shooters, competitive and casual. That'll handle The Division, Ghost Recon, and Splinter Cell. Next up is a studio completely dedicated to like games as a service, live gaming. They'll be in charge of For Honor, The Crew, Riders Republic, Brawlhalla, Skull and Bones. House number 4 is being tasked with like immersive fantasy worlds, big story games. They handle the Anno series, Might and Magic, Rayman, Prince of Persia, Beyond Good and Evil, which is the sequel apparently survived this culling, guys. And it's now entering its 18th, like 2026 is the 18th year this game has been at least officially in development. In 2007, we started getting whispers from the creator of like the first game that he was working on a sequel and it was probably coming, but it was officially like it's around in 2008 and we're in 2026 now. Like that's just sort of an insight into like what the fuck Ubisoft is doing that got us here. And man, I can't believe we even forgot to talk about Skull and Bones. How could I miss that? Where they went the first quadruple A game ever, and it has it's like a shittier version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I genuinely don't know how somebody pulls something off like that, like and keeps their job, especially. And then finally, the final creative house is just that's where they're going to put all of their like casual, their mobile stuff, their family friendly things. Just Dance, Uno, anything to do with Hasbro, so like Transformers, Magic the Gathering, that'll be in there. And that's only for video games. That's not the toys or the cards, just any Magic video game, Transformer video game. So now that all sounds, on paper, doesn't that sound like a good effort? Doesn't that sound like we're making progress? Doesn't it sound like, you know what, champs? I'm glad you learned your lesson and hopefully we can turn around from here. I will admit, on paper, at least to me, like it did. But of course, this is Ubisoft. So I went and I dug into, all of their official communications, their press releases, and here's the rub, right? Here's the entire giveaway to the fact that I don't think this is genuinely a rededication to video games. I think I mentioned it before. I think what you're looking at is Ubisoft trying to be a tech company and operating and moving as a general tech company rather than a video game company, because you see them moving things into, smaller studios, trying to find investments to spin things off. For example, Warner Brothers Discovery. You guys remember that? Or yeah, I guess it still exists technically. With the upcoming Netflix deal for Warner Brothers, the Discovery entity is being spun off again, but it has all of the debt-heavy crap, right? That they're basically, Warner Brothers is shifting all of the debt they had, all of their IOUs over into that division through fun accounting. So now when they split, they go, well, look at Warner. It's great. Netflix is, oh, this is so good. Oh, shit. Discovery is in the hole for like $1 billion. Who wants to get that? I mean, if you guys, essentially what they're doing is like, hey, Discovery has all these great, TV shows and documentaries. If you guys, like, it's all yours for the taking. If you think you can like monetize it and do something with it, but be careful, like you got to pay off the debt. And it's so shady. And it's all just to keep that stock price going up. Because it doesn't matter if it's real. It doesn't matter if you actually deliver on what you promise. The stock price has gone up now. And now everybody is like expecting, presuming, like operating on the stock at that price. And it leads to disaster. But more so than anything I said in that little detour, here's the big rub. In their press release, they explicitly said that their new model would be centering on, quote, open world adventures, games as a service, and native experiences supported by targeted investments, deeper specialization, and cutting-edge technology, including accelerated investments behind player-facing generative AI. Tell me that doesn't sound like some bullshit Elon would try to sell us, or Peter Thiel, or any of those fart huffers in Silicon Valley, right? Like, so their focus is open world adventures and games as a service. okay, that doesn't sound appealing to me. We've gotten to the point with open world games where players no longer care if it's just an open world. That's great. What the fuck is there to do in it? Ubisoft is like the king of, here's an open world. I don't know. Go to that point. Go unlock a tower. Great. Oh, you expected us to put things in it here? No. We don't do that. We just put you there. And so if they're already focused on open world adventures, I don't see them going anywhere with it. Like, it all sounds so fake. And then, yeah, like supported by targeted investments, deeper specialization, and cutting edge technology, including accelerated investments behind player facing. Like, if you're trying to talk about a change in the creative direction of your supposedly like art centric business, because at the end of the day, here's my personal take on it. At the very least, when it comes to video games, the physical like video game itself, here, like, watch. So it's kind of transgression, but to me, this right here, this package, this case, the disc that's inside, all of that, this thing that I picked off the shelf, this is not art. This is a product. This is something you are trying to sell for mass profit. However, everything that goes into it, from the coding to the designs to the gameplay to UI to network connectivity to all the coding, all of that is art. So it's a very weird thing, right? But essentially, at base, making video games is an art. And when you go and your entire business revolves around video games, which are art, and you go, okay, we need a complete creative shake-up, and you go, all right, let's talk about investments. Let's talk about how good, like, we're going to get a lot of investments, guys. Don't worry, we're going to make a lot of. That's not what you do for like a creative endeavor. That's what you do when you're trying to get fucking funding for whatever project you're doing. You talk about how you're going to make a lot of projects because it's that forward-facing language about getting some sort of like almost immediate return. They're not saying it on its face, but it's that subtext. It's reading between those lines. And so to me, this is all just smoke and mirrors for Ubisoft to go like, look, we're trying again. And then, I almost guarantee they'll release a couple games out of this new system and they probably won't do great. And Ubisoft will go, oh, but we're trying, guys. Don't you remember? Like, it's growing pains. And everybody will go, okay, that's fine. And then they'll do it again, and we'll just end up back where we are. I before we got on stream, I was thinking about it. And to me, Ubisoft truly is just like the AI bubble of video game companies, where I don't think they have the reputation or product quality to really be in this situation. I know people like Assassin's Creed. I know people like Far Cry and Rainbow Six. I don't see like they're not Sonic the Hedgehog. They're not fucking Halo. They're not even Destiny, right? Like they have very little overall impact on like gaming history or culture or the popular zeitgeist. I mean, like, sure, Magic the Gathering gave Assassin's Creed a set, but it was also nobody really cares about it. Nobody really uses, like, nobody goes, oh, I'm making an Assassin's Creed deck. I have a couple cards, but that's because I need them for what they do. And yeah, so it's just, I'm pretty sure they just keep like pumping themselves up and going, look, we're great. We're going to be good. Trust us, guys. Ubisoft, we're going to get great. But they never will. And I don't think there's any concrete plan to. I really think they just keep kicking the can down the road. So yeah, it's kind of pathetic at this point. And really, I just wish Ubisoft would hang it up. I don't get any pleasure anymore. Like I don't smile. I don't go like, oh, that's cool. Like when I see a Ubisoft logo, if I'm watching a trailer and I see a Ubisoft logo, I immediately go, well, saving money on that one. It's really, really bad. But I guess the last takeaway before I go to you guys and start seeing all the comments that I'm clearly missing, play Sands of Time. I fucking love this video game. I'm very, very sad that this remake was canceled because they were doing the thing where they were just giving it a better coat of paint, and I'm all about that. I think on Mav streams next week, I think I'm going to start with Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, just in honor of this event and to let you guys in on like one of the very, very better video games of our recent memories. All right, let's jump back here. Let's see what you guys have going on. Let's see. In the drought of good modern games, I find myself going back to the classics: Quake 2, Warcraft 2, Deadlock, Planetary Conquest, Halo, GoldenEye. Yeah, all the classics. So it's funny. I was actually thinking about this as well, like last night, which is, we have seen a lot of our favorite, animes, video games, movies, all this stuff. Like they get ruined. And unfortunately, that is sort of the trajectory for a lot of things. A lot of actors or franchises or ideas will, go really, really big. They'll take a swing and it'll burn out, and it doesn't work for them. But there's like a genre of post. I'm sure you guys have all seen this, right? Where it's like the world you grew up in doesn't exist, and it's like pictures of McDonald's or from like when we were kids or old video games or whatever. And it's like I really, really hate these posts because they're very infantilizing, because they're going like, remember, like they're essentially saying, remember when your life was great? Well, your life was great back then because you were a fucking child and you didn't have responsibilities and you didn't have to think about all the things we know now about the words you say or how you treat. Like, you could just be a kid, right? And we were very forgiven for all the crap we got, whether we were rude or whatever. Maybe we got yelled at, but we got the child gloves. So all those posts that go, oh, remember what they took from you, like, and they focus in on the past, I'm like, that's dangerous, like both to your health and to your mind, because you're just going to go, I want to go back to that, like, I need to go back. And it's like, you'll never go back to that. When you say you want, and what I'm like, this is not towards you, Kirk, but when people are like, oh, remember like the good old days of video games, I'm like, yes, that's a great game, but you're like, the feeling you're chasing, you'll never have again, because you'll never be able to play that game for the first time in that environment, in that mindset ever again. Like, it's something we should all, like, we can miss, but we should all look on it like lovingly, like, man, what a time. As we, still live and we still exist in a constantly moving world, the solution now is to look outwards, right? Like, I don't want to give up anime or video games or comic books. So what do? We got to look in other places. And it sucks because it'd be nice if every video game was, a minimum 7, like we all used to feel like they were. But it nowadays requires a little more work. But they're out there, right? There are so many good indie comic creators, so many good indie video game studios, so many good, independent filmmakers, animate. Like, there's so much good stuff out there that, like I always try to remind myself of that. It's like, man, like, oh, the classics are great. Well, let's look for somebody trying, right, with video, like somebody actually doing gameplay and not just, making a walking simulator that focuses on one story. Yes, Zippy says, given how big the big studios are, they do not need to have specific genres. But the main problem with modern game dev is you need to sell a minimum of 5 million copies. So how do I put this? In terms of that segmentation, I'm not necessarily against that, to say like, okay, this team is going to be in charge of these types of games. Lots of studios do that. Lots of, companies do that, whether you have your marketing team and your legal team, right? So like, that to me is pretty normal. However, I think the second part is what provides like a lot of context here, which is, even though they're going to go, okay, we're focusing on this now, we're focusing on that. That's great. But as Zippy points out, you still need to sell 700,000 billion 4 copies just to be viable, just to not be a complete disaster, which is like, imagine expecting every time a baseball player went up to the plate, they were going to hit a grand slam. And if they hit a within the park, triple or a double, they're cut from the team. That's insane. That would be insane to think about. And yet that's where we are with video games. If your video game can't be monetized to $5 billion with live transactions or whatever, well, maybe we'll make it, but your ass is out immediately, like with Prince of Persia. Battlefield 2 is one of the best games ever because of the mod community. Man, I remember Battlefield 2 when it first came out, and I loved it. Did you ever play 2142? That was the game that I was like, this is what video games should be, where it's just Battlefield 2 with like a futuristic skin on it. But yeah, like robots and spaceships. I was like, this is cool. And then they lost the plot really, really bad. I like Battlefield 1 though. Battlefield 1, I will say I was a fan of. Yes, it was. Wasn't Skull and Bones a state-funded pirate game? It was partially state-funded by both like grants from France and then obviously the Tencent investment. So the game, like, it's one of the Skull and Bones is one of those cases where it's like we all could have told, like, we're seeing the baker make the cake and they're stacking it way too high, and we're like, you're taking in all these funds and you're promising this and you're expecting this, like something's gonna give here. Like there's no way this cake comes out and it tastes anything better than like, it's edible, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. All modern games are released in beta form, and all who buy first are the beta testers. I actually agree with that. That's why, like, I don't buy games at launch. I don't buy hardware at launch, especially. Like, I know a bunch of my friends got on the Switch 2 train and they're loving it, and I want to play some Kirby Air Riders, but I don't know what's lying underneath that shell, that plastic shell. Let's see. Kenny says, I like Ubisoft games back when they released the first Splinter Cell games. Rayman was fun too. Right. Yeah. And I think that's like, I think we can all collectively agree on that. Like, it's not to say Ubisoft was always bad or they were always the, like Tijuana knockoff studio of game. Like, that's not what I'm not saying that, at least. Like, there was a time when they had really good games. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, that game is amazing. I lost so much of my childhood to that game. The Rayman games, even the one they did like 2009, 2010, what was it, like Rayman Unleashed, where they were like, we're throwing it back. That was actually pretty fun. It's just over the years, we can probably, if we pulled up their full gameography, we could see like an active shift from like creative swings and experimenting and trying things to, we got to do it safe. We got to do it safe. And off you go, right? And that's where everything becomes boring and sterile. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Kenny, shout out. Another person who doesn't drink coffee, never even had a sip of it. See, I'm at least of the principle, like, I'll try. I got to give everything a fair shot. So I gave it a shot. Didn't like it. Not at all. Yes, that was a comment. That is my copy of Kamen Rider Memory of Heroes. It was just the closest physical video game I had sitting next to me. I mean that. I did not get up and specifically go, I'm going to show off to everybody with Kamen Rider. Yes, exactly, Zippy. Like, corporate bureaucracy ruins the end product no matter what the product is, which is like, we're seeing it a lot now. You guys have probably heard this term popping up, private equity, right? Private equity investors, private equity companies. What those are these are firms or individuals who will forcefully buy up a bunch of publicly traded stock. So now they have a big speaking part in whatever the company that they bought up is. And to them, they are only in it for money. They don't care about reputation or the product's like lifespan. They go, if I'm putting 50 million into this, how do I get 70 million out of this? And so that's where you start seeing, cuts to services and quality and everything dip until your favorite thing is hollowed out in a shell and it has to close because now it's not making money. But the private equity firm, the private equity investors, they can at least sell off the business for 30 million or whatever and get some of that money back. So truly, it's the corporatocracy, the public trading of it all, right? Like once a company goes truly public, that's kind of where everything starts eating shit. You can see it with Sony, see it with, you know, the bigger Microsoft studios. Look at the ones that are a little more insular, especially insular from Western trends. So things like Sega or Nintendo, where yeah, they have their stock fluctuations as everything, but there's a difference in cultural understanding where they're going like, all right, we want Nintendo to be Nintendo. Like that's a iconic thing. Here, somebody would buy it up and go like, oh, what can I make off of that? And everything gets worse. Everything gets worse. Speaking of new systems, when is the Amico coming out? Oh my gosh. Did you guys, speaking of new consoles? No. Okay. Amico aside, do you remember the Soldier Boy, like the Soldier Boy console that he tried to sell back in like 2008? That was essentially just like a PS3 with like a different like third-party controller. Back in like November, he came back and he tried selling another console. Like I think it was a handheld, but it was essentially just a like a modded Game Boy Advance. And I was just like, you know what? More power to you. Never let your dreams be dreams. Oh yeah, no, Kirk, that's such a yeah. Kirk says I still have my Atari 2600 with its cartridges, his SNES, Xbox with 200 games on the hard drive. This is the way. Like unironically, guys, I'm a big proponent of, you know, downloading your things, having those executable files, making sure you can play your things offline, and pirating if that's how it can be done. Because I know there are a lot of like online only games that you can only get offline by pirating. But aside from that, if I give you money and that purchase is not mine legally and you can rescind it at any moment, piracy is morally correct. And every year more and more logos join the "this is not fun anymore." I know, because they're turning towards the investors. Investors do not give a flying fuck if the actual game turns out fun, or if you, as a Rayman fan, really like the development they made to Rayman's character. Did they hype you up enough for you to go out and buy a copy? Sucker, my money now. Like, it's literally that. And it kind of sucks because you do see a lot of these studios still do have those employees who are like, I care about video games. I want to make a good game. I'm putting my best foot forward. But they always get fucking handicapped and curtailed by these massive, like, yeah, corporate structures of it all. The founder of CD Projekt Red, Witcher series, Cyberpunk, he left the studio a couple years ago. He's founded a new studio where they're working on an admittedly cool concept game. We've talked about it here a couple times, but it's like an open world fantasy where you're like a vampire-ish type of creature and you can prey on people, and like it looks wild. It should be fun. But he left CDPR because he was like, I couldn't make anymore. Like I couldn't create. It got too corporate. I didn't know, I had like 7 different orders coming at me at one time. Like it just got tough. And I mean, you also hear a lot of those stories coming out of Ubisoft. Just like any studio, they're like, we're getting crunched. We're getting, our bosses don't know what they're talking about. It's what happens when you have to answer to somebody who goes, well, how can I make more money? Like that's just the unfortunate end of it. Yeah, there are a ton of cheap indie games on Steam. AAA game. Why? AAA does not, like, to me, that doesn't mean shit anymore. AAA to me is almost a badge of like inverse quality. You say, oh, new AAA game. I go, I don't want that. It's going to be soulless corporate slop. I already know how this is going to go. And then, yeah, like, and when it comes to indie games, I want to make like just to reinforce this. I'm sure all of us all out there know this, but indie game, like, it doesn't mean you're necessarily like a nobody creator or just a guy creating something out of your basement, right? So Claire 33 or Claire Obscure Expedition 33, made by like a smaller team, controversies or whatever aside, like that is still somewhere in the realm of like they didn't have to go through Ubisoft or whatever. I forget the name of the game, but the former director of the Devil May Cry series, Itsuno, he left Capcom about a year or two ago now, to make his own like character action, like DMC style game, but where he could really explore and not get like bogged down by all the Capcom corporateness of it all. So they're out there, right? Like they're genuinely out there. I'm trying to even think. I mainly just play I play Marvel Rivals, I play Fortnite free games. The only AAA game I can really think of in recent years that I've like jumped on were the Final Fantasy Rebirth and Remake, and that's because it's Final Fantasy VII. Aside from that, like, yeah, I genuinely, guys, cannot think of a AAA video game. I guess maybe Kirby Air Riders, you would count that. So like Nintendo stuff maybe, but aside from that, nothing shoots to my mind that's like, this is what Western video gaming is about. Hell yeah. Let's see. By the time GTA 6 comes out, the places you can buy will be tied to a central bank digital currency, and it goes to black. Like, what sucks is this is one of those moments where it's like, if I were to read that, like, I'm even admitting that, like, it sounds, if you try to tell somebody like that sentence, they would just hear like central bank digital currency and they'd blank out and go like, you're crazy. But like, I genuinely I'm pretty sure that this is somewhere in the future where you can't buy games or you can't log into your accounts if you're not approved on that centralized banking system or something. Buy hard drives, set up network attached storage, make like keep yourselves protected out there. Oh man, I mean, there's Eric, there is the Iconic Comics crew, there are, shout out to Chad Larson with Death Shroud, shout out to Vaughn Coleman with the Phenomenovas. There, so many people are creating comics, especially manga, even like really, really good stuff that is well worth your while over Hush 2. Like Hush 2. Oh, I know we all like, yes, they're doing Hush 2. That's not news. We know that. I just saw the solicits last night for April for DC and Marvel. And DC, I forget what fucking book it is, but they're doing like a Batman story, and it's written by Jeff Loeb. Oh, here, I sent it to Andrew. I think I can pull it up really, really fast. But it's like so bad that I was just like, what are we doing here, brother? And he was like, I couldn't even tell you. Please tell me it's quick. Please tell me I can find it fast and not just make an idiot out of myself. I think I'm just making an idiot. Oh, no. That's right. Okay, here. So in April, DC is going to start publishing this miniseries. Batman Wonder Woman, Truth by Jeff Loeb and Jim Chung. The lasso of truth has been stolen, and the Caped Crusader and Amazonian princess race to ensure a safe return before it falls into the wrong hands. You don't want to miss the aftermath of Batman Hush, featuring the devious duo foolish enough to steal from Wonder Woman, the Joker and Harley. Like, you're making a fucking, like, it's not even a Hush 2 sequel. You're making a story that, like, you're saying directly spins out of Hush. Hush was in 2000, like, that's a 20-year-old story that was open and shut. Like, nobody is asking for this. It's so ridiculous. Like, this is where we're at with, like, big mainstream comics. Or don't even get me started on Marvel, where, as Andrew and I have joked for weeks and months lately, like, the House of Ideas no more, where they're just like redoing everything, right? I just saw in those solicits, they're doing this series called like Civil War Resparked or something, and they're just retelling it's Civil War, like Marvel Civil War, but from like a different perspective. So it's the same fucking events. It's just like a different angle of, and I'm like, from a different narrator. And I'm like, why? Like, what are we actually doing here? Regardless of the fact that you assholes, like, you messed up with Civil War so much that nobody talks about it. I was talking to a buddy like last night, and I was saying, like, okay, Yeah, whenever they like meet up and they bring up Civil War, it's like, Tony, you were mean and you cloned Thor and you didn't talk about it. But it's like, do we not remember when they put like Daredevil and Luke Cage and Jack Flag and all these people into a fucking extra dimensional gulag? Are we forgetting? Do we forget that they gave Norman Osborn carte blanche, even though they knew who he was, to be like America's top cop? No, they don't, and Marvel won't do it because they know that they fucked up. So I don't know why you go back and acknowledge it. It's so bad. I don't know. Not that's a complete non sequitur just on the topic of comics. I know. I got off there. We'll go back. Let's go back to looking at Farah. She is a handsome woman. I think it's gonna be right here. Oh yeah. Boom, boom. Okay, yeah, we will go there. Yes, Timon. Vampire Survivors is a good example. I love that game. I mean, Balatro, for all my fellow card heads out there, like I lost hours to that game. Like I spent an entire weekend once just playing Balatro, and I actually felt fucking awful by the time I realized it was like Sunday afternoon at 3, and I was like, I've not really done anything but stay on my phone playing Balatro. Don't get me wrong, like I don't even like the smell of it. So like when my sisters get like coffee ice cream or something, or my parents, I'm just like, please, like, keep it over there. Not for me. Not for me. I used to drink warm milkshakes every day, but switched to soda, then to nicotine lozenges. Is that a bit, or did you really just drink like warm milkshakes every day? Because if you did, then I tip my hat, because I've had that fantasy and I've never gone through with it. Oh yeah, no, I very, very much simplified what private equity was, because otherwise we'd be sitting here for a 3-part lecture on all the various financial systems. But yeah, I just try to give a very quick overview of like how private equity barely operates. I mean, first of all, we know I don't use words like woke or whatever or racist. It's the same shit that the left would throw at us, especially when there's not. What do you mean by woke? Right? Like there's 900 definitions. I don't give any I don't give any space or like any weight to those words. But on the topic at hand, I don't necessarily know what you mean by like Sega going woke. They've made some really bad decisions, some bad business decisions, but I've never seen anything that implies that super far neoliberal left politics have resulted in any sort of damage to their products. Bad decisions all around have, like, I'm sure we've all seen the big news lately, which is the Yakuza 3. Like they did I guess it's a remaster of it, and they released it, and it looks like abysmal dog shit compared to the original. Here, I got to find that comparison tweet because it is bad. It is bad. There it is. So yeah, in case you guys haven't seen it, this is Yakuza 3 versus the Yakuza 3 remastered. Can you tell do you guys know which one is which? I bet you'll be surprised, because the super bright flat one on the right side with no detail and no soul and just the most generic looking assets that maybe came from Unreal 5, that's the remaster, right? So that's definitely, like, Sega's fucked up there, but they've also been consistently sort of keeping their head down and building back up. That's not to say they've been on a perfect run. They've had some stumbles with like Sonic Forces, and Sonic Frontiers was fun, but it was another one of those, open world that's empty type situations. So not to say they haven't had stumbles, but they're putting their heads down. They did great with the Sonic movies. They are trying for new Jet Set stuff, new Primal Rage stuff. So they're at least trying. I think they got spanked so hard with the Dreamcast and that era that they're like, okay, we've learned our lesson. Let's take it easy at this point. Like let's be smart. Is this Mattel Electronics and Television? Wait, is that different from the regular Intellivision? Because when you say like Mattel Electronics, I'm thinking of like remember the really like 2-bit like black and white like handheld games they would have. I used to have so many of those, like Sonic and Street Fighter, and yeah. So, is that what you're talking about? I remember all those. Yeah, Mail deleted my email account, then Steam deleted my Steam account. Like, see, this is the shit I'm talking about. This is exactly what it is, regardless of the reasons why, right? Even if I'm like, here, I'll play devil's advocate, and I'll say, like, even if you went and you broke every single one of their terms of service, right? And they cut your account, you still paid for that shit. Like, it's essentially them coming in and going, okay, I like Nintendo, if you piss them off, they come into your house and they take your games and go, sorry, you don't get to play these anymore. So it's like, well, then I'm not going to give you money in the fucking first place. I'm just going to pirate it. How about that? Yes, exactly. Make piracy. No, keep piracy great. It's better than ever. It's easier than ever. And the kids are so stupid. They don't know. Like, it's not even a joke. The kids don't know how to use technology. They don't know how to torrent. They don't know what a file path is. Anyone know when the next big Steam sale is? Not. I think like the next probably big planned one will be, I think they always have one for like February for Valentine's Day. But then I think from that, it's probably going to be like the summer sale, right? Like that big one. Yeah, I do not like the Vampire Survivors type game. Gives me a PTSD of Tiger Heli. And I totally get that. But yeah, like Vampire Survivors is a lot, but it's at least an example we can point to, even if we don't like it. Because I'm kind of with you, Zip. It's a little chaotic for me, but yeah, we can still point to it and be like, that's a good indie game. People like it. It's doing well. Oh, coffee, milk, sugar equals a warm milkshake. Got you. I genuinely thought you were like, I made a milkshake last night. I'll leave it. I get up in the morning at 6. I start getting ready for the day. I leave it out on the counter, and once it's ready, once it's all just ice cream, I slug it down. Which, like, I wasn't gonna say anything. But I was also going to be like, Zippy, are you 900 pounds? Like, how is that possible? Wow. Timon says, have you heard of the budget of The Witcher 4? So far, around 800 million. This might break CDPR if it fails. Like, that's fucking bonkers to me. An $800 million investment into this. Like, I raise this example all the time. But between God of War, the very first PS1 one, and God of War 3, including the what was that, like Battle of Ascension or whatever, or Chains of Olympus, the PSP spinoff or side game, 5 years. That entire saga, to develop it, to record it, to write it, to all of that, to deliver it to you. It took 5 years between God of War 21 and Ragnarok, or 2018, whatever the fuck it was, right? Like 5 years in between one game. And that's only one part of like a little part of that story. That's my favorite example to show kind of what Timon's pointing out here. This shit's just ballooned. It's gotten out of control. And unfortunately, like this is where we're at with a lot of things. So from video games, the thing that came to my mind is like the American housing market, right? Or even the American economy with AI. It's all being artificially propped up. It is all like, we know, like even Trump said it. You know, President Pedophile said it the other day. He's like, I could, make homes more affordable, but then it would make all the homes we currently have, like all those people would lose the worth of their homes. I don't know what to do. And so like if you did it, yes, you would cause really admittedly like pain to those people who like have those houses as investments, but then you'd be opening it up and making it way more like fair for everybody else to afford housing or make video games or whatever. And yeah, the fact that you continue to go like, no, all video games need to be this, all video games. Like, I know they expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Like, I understand that. And I wouldn't want it to be me either, but somebody's going to have to, like, it's all a very, very delicate house of cards. Yep. The anime one over there, that is the freaking remake. I don't know. What are you doing over here? What are you doing over here? Let's see. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought that was the full name of the Intellivision, but then like I don't ever see anybody write out the Mattel Electronics part, so I started going like, oh shit, was it an Atari television? A Jack, like fuck, what was it? And so yeah, my brain went screwy. But yeah, I remember that one. My mom had that one with the really wacky controllers. I remember that. Yeah, oh yeah. Even if the aesthetic and theme change, the core game mechanics are solid enough for Pirate Yakuza. Yeah, I am actually a big fan of what they've been doing with the Yakuza series, kind of like keeping it fresh. I'm with you, Zippy. Like, I don't know if I would totally have gone full like RPG. I don't know. To me, on paper, all that stuff, I would have been like, oh, I don't know. But then you get to Pirate Yakuza and it works, right? So you're like, all right, I can nod at that. And it's important, guys. Just as it's super important as we all are doing, and it's good that we do, to call out like the crap. We also got to remember to be like, all right, that was a good move. You know, credit where credit is due. Because if you just tell somebody all the time that no matter what you do, it's awful, why are they going to try? Oh no. Censorship is never worth it. I am completely anti-censorship 100%. You will never catch me advocating for censorship. I mean, no government overreach coming in and saying that's not happening. Oh no, absolutely, Timon. The AI bubble is a world issue and not just the US. When RAM doubles in price in the US, they quadruple in price over here. Oh no, absolutely, it is a global problem. But more in terms of where I was talking about from that US angle is that because a lot of those companies are located here, a lot of the tech companies, or at least the ones who are utilizing like the technologies and stuff and making the test cases for them, especially things like AI, they're being artificially inflated. And because they, stay artificially inflated, that keeps all the prices up everywhere. And so like somebody here in our American economy just has to knock out a brick, and it's going to suck, but you got to rebuild somehow. Oh no, absolutely. No, none of our, let me make it clear. There is not even when it just comes to housing here, Kenny, right? Like none of our elected officials, left, right, like none of those motherfuckers care about us a second, a beat, anything, right? Like the fact that they've been able to like manipulate us into such a strong left-right divide, like it sucks, but it's also distracting from the fact that they work for us and we outnumber them. And it like we really are like, I know it sounds communist, but we are in a class war, and it fucking sucks. But actually, that's a really good transition point right here. Wait, holy shit. Flex, oh my god, I missed you in between some comments because you had a similar colored avatar. What's going on, Flex? But also, I'm starting to feel like GTA 6 isn't going to live up to the hype, and that makes me sad. Honestly, I don't either, right? Like, and I'm in a weird spot with GTA 6. So before that recent trailer, like that big one, I was very much with you, Flex. I'm like, it's not going to live up to the hype. It's going to be like this is going to be really bad. That trailer came out, and my opinion now is like, I don't think it'll be awful. Like, I think it'll still be a good GTA game, but it's not going to be this monumental thing, kind of like you're like talking about, right? Like, it's not going to be the next giant thing, right? Like, they're not, a lot of us probably, and they've been, teasing it as such, like this is the next big ecosystem. This is the next like GTA Online. And it's like, you say that, but you built into online, and like, I don't know. Yes, I'm kind of really wary with you on that one. I don't know how that'll work. Yep. All I really want to say is that they don't really care about. Exactly. Rest in peace to the king. But that's actually a really good place to jump really quick just before we get out of here. The last little story kind of links in. Gave me a good opportunity to use the Assassin's Creed Magic cards for this thumbnail, since we're talking Ubisoft, and we'll end here on a little bit of Magic the Gathering news. So we're not going to dive into it a lot. It's a lot of legalese. If you want to really, scour through it, it's over on Bounding Into Comics. Hit up the website. But essentially, Hasbro earlier this week was hit with a lawsuit from a pair of investors alleging that not only are their stock prices artificially inflated, but they're doing so by actively and willingly overprinting Magic cards. So essentially what their entire case is that Magic. So yeah, like I'll just get into this quick overview. In recent years, Magic the Gathering has kind of become the thing propping up Hasbro. Yes, they make, sales from their various toy brands, but in terms of like big capital, like big money, it's coming from Magic the Gathering. And this was even before they started tapping into crossover sets like the Lord of the Rings or Doctor Who or Final Fantasy. It was always their big money maker. Now, kind of linking this back to what we were talking about with, inflating stock prices and lying to everybody and, just making sure it doesn't fall. The investors allege that over the years, so for the past few years, during every earnings call, Microsoft's or Hasbro CEO and its executives, they come out and they give this whole, rundown and they go, Magic is selling incredibly. That's why you see such a big boost here. All of our Magic products are like rocketing off of the shelves, and we sell so much that we made $200,000 $200,000 off of this collab in just like 4 days. It's crazy. So obviously when they say things like that, people are going to go, oh, then you're doing great. Let's invest. Like stock price goes up. What these guys are alleging is that to meet that, so obviously let's take the Final Fantasy set, for example. Final Fantasy set comes out. It's popular. It's moving. It sells out really, really fast, as we all probably expected it would. Instead of allowing the proper reprinting cadence and thus allowing cards to keep their value in the secondhand market, they were they would go, oh shit, we need more Final Fantasy, print 1 billion more and drop it. And so in doing so, they got to tell everybody that, oh, look, all of like our stock is great. We're selling like hotcakes. But then everybody who's actually playing the game and collecting the cards and stuff are going, why is this card that's supposed to be so hot? Like, why is it dipping in price so hard? And ta-da, because they're just overprinting it without any care for that secondary market to prop up their stock prices. Now, I will be 100% honest. I do not really give a shit about the secondary market. Or let me rephrase that. That's not the right way to put it. I don't really give a shit if you are somebody who buys like items on its speculation, right? Like you see it a lot with Pokemon these days where people will buy Pokemon cards or packs and they'll just sit on them on the hopes that it'll be worth something someday, right? Like I don't care about you. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you. Like if you guys are going to go out and, invest or like not even like if you want to get into collecting video games or playing Magic or whatever, make sure you are getting into it for you, right? Not for that speculatory market, because you never know when it'll disappear. And you don't want to be stuck holding the bag of 900 Beanie Babies. But so that secondary market thing aside, is like I'll put that point aside. The main thing to like center on here is the fact that Hasbro is just lying to investors, or allegedly lying to investors, right? And it's sort of a very small focused microcosm of what we've been talking about all day today, which is we all know, everybody on the ground, the consumer, the players, we all know like this is not a good spot. We aren't enjoying this. We don't like this. However, no company can really make any change or take an L, because that would require them to go, my bad, and that my bad drops your stock price. And it literally only matters if your stock price goes up. So Hasbro's in really hot water right now. And what's crazy is that this is not the first lawsuit of this kind. I believe it was, let me look up the year real quick. I just want to get that one factoid right. Don't want to give you guys bad info. Bum, bum, bada, bada, bum, 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 bum. Where is it? Yes, there we go. So 2024, near the end of 2024, they actually got hit with a similar lawsuit that they were making false and misleading statements about their inventory buildup and their product demand. Essentially, this lawsuit, I believe it's Florida. No, Southern District Court. Oh, that's why I screwed it up. I always think West Palm Beach is Florida, even though that's New York. But Southern District filed with the Southern District Court of New York on behalf of the West Palm Beach firefighters pension fund, because the firefighters, they noticed that, the fund manager kept hearing the Hasbro earnings reports and kept investing because it was good. Like, that's going to be a solid investment. But then they noticed, like, this is weird. Like, the inventories that you're talking about, you say all of this stuff is going out in demand, but like, where is it? What's happening? So Hasbro is not doing great right now. Especially, I mean, this is even ignoring the Power Rangers of it all with whatever is happening over there. So it's just, I mean, I don't think any of us here particularly have any love lost for Wizards, especially with where they've gone in recent years. I mean, I love Magic the Gathering, but I can't deny it's not they've kind of been like shooting it in the foot really, 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 really hard. This is just a really good this is an easier, like, concrete thing for us to take away about what it means to chase that profit, what that can do to everything, instead of just saying abstracts, right? Hopefully I can at least leave you guys with that. Let's see. Timon says, how I see it, or how I see the world, a three-way tug of war between people, government, and corporations. When all are pulling towards themselves, there's a balance, but lately, corporate and government have been together. That's funny. Even before, so like right when I read your first sentence, I was going to argue back like, well, Timon, first of all, let's be real, corporations are the government. And then you hit that in the last part. Like, that's pretty funny. But yes, I mean, that's a whole other, like, that's a very, very deep socio-political theory, like, rabbit hole to go down as to why the government and corporations have teamed up. But you're right. Like, it is unfortunately a three-way tug of war, and nobody wants to help. We are on our side right now, right? And unfortunately, our side of people, of just the people, we're all at each other's throats for either for good reason or for bad reason, right? So it's just, it's hard out there. But that's why we hang out here, right? That's why I make sure to host Good Mav Ugly, so you guys can, me and you included, can have at least like a couple hours a day where we can come hang out and remember that, hey, it sucks, but at least we've got each other. Kenny says, WWE does the same all the time. They have supposed record gates, but the actual viewership is the lowest ever. Yet the stock goes up and they get multi-billion-dollar deals with TKO, ESPN, Netflix. I remember talking to Jacob Smith about this back in the day, Society Reviews, because he was noting, like, he's a big wrestling guy. And when they started getting like the Netflix deal and WWE got the Netflix deal and stuff, he was like, I don't understand. Like, why is Netflix is not making money on? Like, he was so baffled. Like, he could not make sense of like what is happening here. There's no reason, right? And it's just, it's very kind of going back to what Timon is saying. You're seeing a lot of these corporations pull out a page out of that government playbook, right? When you think about all of our politicians, our presidents, senators, prime ministers, wherever you happen to live, right? Campaign trails, it's always promise that, promise this, like, oh yeah, don't worry, like, everything is great, all of my numbers are blah blah blah, and then they get in office, regardless of who it is, and the reality of the world obviously harangues them from being able to accomplish a lot of that shit or pull it off in any way close to what they said. And yeah, that's actually kind of really depressing. That's a really depressing thing for you to drop on me at the very end there, Kenny. How dare you, my friend? But let's see. I think, yeah, with the Hasbro in like the hottest water of all time, I think that's all I've got for you, fine ladies and gentlemen, on this Saturday. Let's see. So unless there's anything else anybody wants to, drop, check out, laugh about, make fun of me for, I think this is probably a good point for us to cut it for today. Yeah, we're 2:10. We're just cutting a little early. Whatever. I don't know why I'm justifying it. It's It is what it is. I love all of you. I love hanging out with you. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, either in the chat, whether you're lurking or you watch it in the VOD. I know we had Hibiki and Kenny and Timon and oh gosh, Flex was here and Kirk and I already got Timon and Zippy, of course. And I know Shinkai was here for at least a little bit, and Andrew, and of course we got our bots. Give it up for the bots. It's not a bounding stream without one of the bots coming through one of our channels, right? So, oh yes, and how could I forget Punk? Punk was also around with us for a little while, and of course Conrado. We wouldn't have gotten to the you gave us that perfect Ubisoft transition over here. So guys, thanks for hanging out with me while live, or while lurking or watching in the VOD. I see all of you. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. Couldn't do this without you, and it brings no small amount of joy to me that whenever I go live, I get to see your beautiful faces. I get to hear from you. I get to hear your thoughts. We get to hash a lot of things out like this. It's always a blast, and yeah. I love all you guys. Thanks for being here with me. I guess that's probably all I've got today before I just start gushing out all over you guys. So, as always, guys, boundingintocomics.com every day for new news. Streaming schedule Monday. Cider and Nerdigans are coming at you live as always with weekly Weeb news. Right now, just quick heads up, Nerdigans is going through a personal issue right now. So you might have noticed that Cider has hosted the last weekly Weeb news on his own. It's all good. Cider is more than capable. We know him. We love him. He's fucking hilarious. He's fucking informative. He's great. But yeah, just Nerdigans is okay. She just might be absent from a few more shows, but nobody's fired. Nobody's hurt. Like it's all good over here. So yeah, weekly Weeb news Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Come hang out with me. Lunchtime for Mav streams where we'll be playing video games. Like I said, next week, I think let's go, play Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. What with all this news. Eventually, we'll probably start the Spider-Man anniversary video game tour that I talked about a couple weeks ago. We just got to get finished setting that up. So, yeah, hit those streams up. Thursday nights, come over to Foil Variant with me and Andrew Rodriguez, where we give you intellectually honest talk about the week's comic book releases. And then, as always, same Mav time, same Mav channel, right back here next week for another good Mav Ugly, where we will talk about whatever is on our minds. Who knows what this next week will bring us? But at the very least, I hope this weekend, this Saturday, brings each and every one of you some amount of joy, some amount of rest, some opportunity to go play video games. Also, yeah, bundle up to all of my my freezing friends, and I'll be thinking of you when I look at my sunny skies now. Oh, I know that's what I love about Cider. Cider is awesome. He looks like he's in a coma at times, and then he just spits knowledge for 20 minutes straight. It's pretty great. It's like we know him, Cider. Like, yeah, I'm always like, oh man, is Cider like even like am I wrong? Like, is he into this topic? And then he like drops like the biggest knowledge bomb, and I'm like, oh, I'm just the big dum dum. But yeah, guys, take it easy. I'm off to go play some more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I gotta knock that thing out. And I will see each and every one of you very, very soon. Take it easy. Love you. And be.
As the creator of Mara Jade,
Wait! I am not the creator of Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought
No
it on
way.
You brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so
Out.
sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Dad, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him like burned and. Well,
I don't even
executed
know
and
who
burned.
that guy is.